Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So last week I had a video I posted that a lot of people enjoyed, which was people speaking about what it was like being raised, growing up in households that were racist and taught them to be racist, and just dived into the problematic culture within America that a lot of people like to overlook. So I figured I'd come back with another one, but this time we're gonna focus on the Latino or Hispanic community and see what they got to say. And hopefully, this just raises awareness and people just start to realize that we all we got out here to do better. So, with that being said, we're smoking on my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty, greats, overachieving, never slacking. We're gonna go head over to TikTok. We're gonna hop right into it. Here we go.
And I talk about this in the book because within my family, there was definitely quite a bit of racism. And they would instill fear of black people to me. So like these were just like bigger kids because they're older, but I was afraid of them because within the family, it would just be like, oh, you have to be careful. Like they didn't at the time really have any relationships with black people. That's a very, very Ecuadorian thing to this day. We don't talk about that in Latin America, but that's a big problem. Or people really like to hide it under the rug, and it's like very, very explicit for us Americans to go to Latin American. And I talk about this in the book because
Crazy. A lot of people could ignore that subject. So shout out to him and everybody who does focus on things that really do need to be fixed. That's horrible. Even when you just look at in America, period. I don't think I've ever came across too much Ecuadorians at all, to be honest with you. But um, it just makes me think a lot of situations that I have had where people have acted uh like I'm a threat. Um, whole time I'd be like really kind. Like if you see me in person, if you ever come across me, I'm very respectful. I like to respect people, no matter what race, sexuality, whatever you are, gender. Like I'm gonna show you respect, first. And it's weird, but it seems like sometimes like the more kind I am, the more threatened people feel, and it's very weird. And when you look at guys like this explain their upbringing, you realize that it's something that's programmed in the subconscious, and it's sad. It's sad. It really is. But at this point, if you're not focusing on your flaws as an American, and you got to work amongst all this in this melting pot of America. I mean, you're the problem at
A
that
lot of
point.
people don't understand when I say that Mexicans are culturally racist. They think that I'm calling us openly racist. We are culturally racist, and this is how. Part of our culture is to frown upon dark-skinned people. It's been passed down to us by the Spaniards, by our colonizers, by the people that conquered us, taught us that dark skin is inferior, light skin is superior. We were taught that. It was passed down to us, meaning it's part of our culture. We are culturally racist in this aspect. That doesn't mean I go out in the streets and want to hurt black people because they're black.
Right, right.
It means that our teachings, the way we're raised, is that we are raised to subconsciously believe that dark skin is inferior and light skin is superior. Another element in our Mexican culture is Univision News, Univision channel. That channel is run by white Latinos. The ideologies and subliminal teachings that they teach is very similar to Fox News. White supremacist-ish. They make efforts to depict dark-skinned people as criminals. That whenever they even bother sharing news about dark-skinned people is when they do something wrong. But yet, when they want to mention anything that has to do with light-skinned people, specifically white people, is to depict them as them doing good deeds around the world, feeding the homeless, etc. You get it. My grandmother was visiting one day from Mexico. She's never lived in the United States. She has no idea what life is out here. She was watching Univision News, where they depicted a black American committing a crime. She turned around and said, Oye, estos negros solo estorban, ¿verdad? Hey, these black folks, all they do is get in the way, huh? Here's the interesting part. She's never met a black person in her life. She has no idea what it's like to interact with a black person, but yet she already has an opinion about black people as a whole. Why? Because part of our culture, in this particular case, Univision News, since we were children, we have been subliminally taught the blacks are bad criminals, etc., and whites are good, decent, giving, saviors, etc. We're taught that. Hearing her express such a hateful remark about a people that I knew for a fact she's never even interacted with. You don't even know a black person. How dare you come here to this country and have a whole opinion about these people? I resented her deeply for it. I regret it because you can't hate her for that. She never got the opportunity to learn what you have. I got the privilege of learning things that I self-taught. Since she's been a child, she's been working in the fields. Never had the opportunity to sit and read a book to educate, nothing. All she ever has to teach her anything was this racist, biased news program. How could I blame her? She doesn't even know any better. And even if I sat with her today, I don't even think I could help her understand at this point, because she has lived 80 years worth of only understanding this mentality. A lot of people go to their graves thinking this is normal. A lot of
I like how he used the word subconscious. Like, that's what I'm saying. This be deeply programmed in the people's subconscious. And there's even a lot of people on this channel who I know don't like when I make videos like this. But it's once again, people lack empathy just because they haven't had those, can't share those experiences. People like to overlook this, but this is what I like to call collective shadow work. In order for us to come together and move forward, not only do we have to look at the past, but we also have to look at the present and the problems that are holding humanity back to this day. There was too much messed up stuff done, and if you look at my channel, you'll be able to find me speaking on the things like the potato famine, and just I've reacted and did so many videos on so much different struggles around the world in order to just understand people and connect with people. So when I'm speaking about certain situations and what that has to do with my experiences and how I look, and I see people lack empathy for that, yeah, it does get annoying because it lets me know that they're under that program where they want to skip over certain people, you know, like, oh yeah, my problems are, we can focus on that, but let's not focus on yours because it doesn't. That just tells me you think deep down that it doesn't matter as much. It's not important to you, and that's wrong, right? When you look at coming up out of slavery, even when you look at all the so-called black thriving towns that were upcoming, uh, even when I looked into my ancestry and I seen that tracing to South Carolina, my great great grandfather, he had land, and it's still in it's still in the family name, but so someone I'm not sure who, but someone owns it right now. But it was in the middle of Columbia and Charleston, and there used to be it's by Lake Marion, and there used to be a town called Ferguson, a thriving lumber town, and what happened was those people were forced out and displaced, and they created a hydroelectric dam. It flooded the whole place turned it to an underwater ghost town. To this day, you can still go to certain parts and see it underwater. So that's just one of many. I could go on and on and on. Lake Lanier, Tulsa, Black Wall Street. Um, I want to say it's called, what was it, Rosewood? I mean, it was a lot of massacres, a lot of bombings. Um, Seneca Village, a lot of places was destroyed, and this directly violated amendments. When you look at like the Fourth Amendment, which is supposed to protect people in their land, and they're not supposed to be violated like that. And after even looking into after 19 after was it 1964, the Civil Rights Act, when that 14th Amendment was placed, that's supposed to protect us. Like, we're supposed to be granted access to all those rights. So and those were still violated, right? Still violated. So when I really sit back and I look at these things, um, even actually even during the Civil War, I want to say, might be when we was even granted access to those rights. Actually, yeah, that after the Civil War, I want to say that because uh, that there was even laws made after the Civil War, what's called Black Codes and Jim Crow laws, to try to stop us from even having those rights and try to put a halt on that. So it was so much violations done that it's like, if you're talking about moving on in humanity, and you're not willing to look back and see what's wrong with America, you have a big problem. Because when you even look at the 1964 civil rights movement, they was fighting for everybody, Latinos, everybody, Asians, everybody. Maybe that'll be another one I do. Asians. We're going to cover everything. We're not running from no smoke on this channel. As much as people want me to tuck things under and act like, nah, we're not running from no smoke on this channel.
A lot of
None.
people bash white people specifically and call them the most racist people. Just base level white, right? For me, I'm just like, if you ever go to Mexico or even just Europe, I feel like they're more racist than your average white person here in America.
Of course. I mean, Eastern Europeans are probably the most racist people, especially, say, Romanians, Austrians, Polish people are maybe more racist. Chinese, oh my God, they see a black man, a black man roaming, they'll be like, what the hell?
Ching chang, no, wallet, no, bro. They like
Ching chang, a black man there.
like no. You ever saw the movie Menace to Society?
No, I haven't.
Oh, bro, there's like this scene. I'm gonna put it up as a reel. There's like this scene.
I go and check them.
I'm gonna get out of that just because I don't like the clowning with the movie. Just certain movies and certain way things are portrayed. Polish people, it's sad if that is true as far as the racism. Just because I know, like, there was a lot of history with Polish, like when was it Napoleon Bonaparte, was it, that took the Polish to Haiti, and the Polish turned on the French army and said, hey, they going through the same type of oppression we is, and fought with the Haitians. I did a whole video on that, and to the point where the Haitians, they made a little, it was like a little Polish town, that they granted them access to even live in Poland. To this day, you see a certain mixture. So the Poland's that if they is racist today, then they probably just don't understand what really happened in history, and it's, I guess, just, I don't know, programmed too.
Try to say you were foreign, they might laugh. Try to say you were foreign.
Yeah, good luck with that in America. Good luck with that.
I just want to talk about something real quick that I feel like it's not talked about enough. And y'all, please don't mind this music. These are my neighbors. It's such a strange feeling being a dark-skinned Latina, because sometimes, I'm Dominican, right? Sometimes I have a hard time connecting with my culture because there are a lot of things that my culture does that I don't agree with and that I take offense to as a woman of color. So today, for example, I was at work and I was talking to a coworker that doesn't really know me well or whatever about relationships and stuff like that. He's a fair tone Dominican, so he looks more Spaniard. We all know Dominicans come in different shades and stuff like that. My whole life, I just have never been attracted to Latino men. I've always dated black men, so Africans, Haitians, Jamaicans, like that's just what I'm naturally attracted to. And so I stated that, and he responded and said, oh, maybe if I lower my pants and drag them down with my ass showing, maybe then you'll like me. What is that even supposed to mean? Like, what are you implying when it comes to black people? There has also been moments where I'm with another, like, fair tone Dominican, and I remember one time I went to BJ's, and when we got there, she said, oh my God, there's so many black people around.
Let me try to pause it because her video freezing up.
I was like, what are you talking about? When I hear stuff like that, when I hear Dominicans say stuff like that, or even just any Latino country, like person, whatever, say that, like, it really pisses me the fuck off.
We're gonna pause that one just because of the freezing up, but I definitely get her point there. Someone in the comments said, mind you, the Queen of Salsa is a black woman. So-called black, right? It's crazy because even when you look at her, like, when before the Latinos, before the Mexicans, before they was and so many other cultures were just colonized and I'll say graped. What color you think they was, man? The more ancient you get, the more older you get, the more darker that skin start to look. You know, so what about all the Mexicans that they be hiding over there in Mexico?
Don't let your family mispronounce your child's name. That shit scars me. I hate my name. I don't even identify with it. I don't even know who that is anymore. That he died at 6. I don't know who he is. I went to therapy today, and here's some things that I learned I was not equipped to handle when they happened to me. There are parts prior to this. Honestly, I don't want to trauma dump on you, so you shouldn't watch them. I was not let me see this different. I only kind of remember.
It's not. I'm not sure where he was going with it, but I know it's not. It's not easy to. It's not easy at all to get on the internet and let your pain out. You know, that's
us as Latinos. I've noticed that we're willing to accept white people in our family, but not black people. Most of the time, we prefer white people over black people. Really, any other nation more than a black person. What I mean is, a mother's daughter has a white boyfriend, they would happily welcome him more than if she had a black boyfriend. Most of the time, there's a stereotype within the Hispanic household about black people, right? That they're criminals, they're gang members, they're violent, they're someone you should fear. When really, we should look at white people that way, because white people are the ones who actually are harming us right now. Yes, they're Hispanics who are in those ICE trucks, ICE vans, but they have been put in place by the oppressor. The same people who descend from the people who took your land, put your forefathers in slave ships, stole your identity,
And
gave
what it do-
you
and it hold on.
the
And it's crazy because as he speaks about,
term.
all right, TikTok's driving me crazy right now. But as he speaks about his forefathers, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there, honestly. But as he speaks about his forefathers, it's like how did they look? You know, you got a lot of people in Mexico right now, where is it, like Veracruz, certain places that discriminated against because they look like me. And it's horrible. Even when you look at like just culturally, and I know like in places like California, when you deal with even like the prison system, you'll have the Southern Mexicans who they team up with the white gangs against the blacks, the so-called blacks. And I think it's disgusting, especially when you look at even now, like it's always a so-called black person that still going to do their best to show the utmost love on a bigger scale. Kendrick Lamar just took a southerner, Mexican, and and put him on a song that he was able to get with a Grammy for, and able to rep his Mexican culture. Even though if that person was to go back to his neighborhood and go to, it's certain politics, right? If he was to go back to prison, it's certain politics where he can't even accept food from someone who looks like me. So um, I I know there's a long. I'm not saying so-called black people are perfect, but to just completely put us all in a box and just discriminate against us and always team against us, it says a lot. And it says a lot. Um, it says a lot, especially when I keep going back to that civil rights movement where the ancestors really fought hard for everybody. There's actually this is why I might do the Asians next, because there's a video with this Asian man where he's discussing how, man, he called himself a coward for um not marching with the so-called black. I say so-called black because I don't like these terms they give us. I don't like it at all. From color to Negro to I don't like it. Like we didn't get what's our real last names. With so much erasure done. Um, so that's if people may be wondering why I say so-called. That's why, because of the erasure. Because I feel like it's disrespect. Um, Even when you look at these darker people around the planet, that are usually just completely ostracized and excluded from the rest, whether it's in India, whether it's in the Philippines, and you got the Negritos, whether it's in Malaysia. You find these darker people around. Was it the South Andaman Islands, the North, or is it was it the North Sentinelese people off the coast of India? Darker than me with coily hair, but we had all type of hair textures. Until those racists way back in the day wanted to sit here and say, oh, paint us as one way, which is flat nose, and say our brains were small and we were stupid, and make us look like that's from the mind of a racist, right? That's from the mind of a racist. When in all reality, we come in all types of looks, and that's just the truth. It's that heavy melanin in there, so um, which absorbs sunlight, right? Absorbs sunlight, protects us from different types of to UV lights and things like that. It's beautiful. The more you study it, and to hate people for just having that, something that's so of the planet. So the more you have of that, the more people hate you. Really? Come on, man, wake up. This is an attack on anyone. This is to say, everybody, wake the hell up. I'm not shutting my mouth. And a lot of people like that. A lot of people want to be comfortable. They want to be, but we're not in a time for that. No. If we're going to come together, see, what's really going to help humanity is honestly a true UFO disclosure where we realize it's so much more deeper than humanity, but that's another discussion. But that's really going to get people to say, oh, wow. Wow. It's so much deeper than just race mixing and all that stupid racist stuff people be so focused on. So the point of this video was pretty much to say everybody just do your best. You as the individual watching, if you know you was programmed a certain way, do your best to release yourself of those chains. So even when you do leave this physical body, you can rise higher and not be stuck in the hell that was created for you. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and that notification bell, and I'll be back with more soon. Much love, y'all.